Armin had always been a quiet, observant boy, not because he lacked confidence, but because his dreams were louder than his words. He lived in a small town surrounded by people who believed in playing safe, simple jobs, simple ambitions, simple lives. But Armin was different. He carried inside him a spark, a whisper that said, "You're meant for something bigger." Yet the world around him didn't see that spark. His classmates thought he was average. His teachers thought he lacked focus. Even his relatives often said, "This boy won't do much in life." Each comment was like a small stone thrown at him, annoying at first, painful later. But deep inside, Armin held on to one belief: the world doesn't have to believe in me. I believe in myself. One, the early doubts. Armin wasn't born extraordinary. He wasn't the top student, he wasn't the most talented kid, and he wasn't the fastest learner. But he had one thing, an unshakable desire to improve. Every night he would sit by the window, look at the stars, and whisper to himself, "Someday they will know my name." But at 16, when most teenagers were figuring out careers, Armin was still searching. He loved technology, but he had no laptop, limited resources, and no one who understood his passion. His father pushed him toward a safer path. His mother worried about money. His friends laughed whenever he talked about his dream of becoming a tech innovator. "Bro, you can't even afford a computer," they would say. "Dreams are for rich people. This is reality. Accept your limits." Armin would smile, remain silent, and walk away, but their words always echoed inside him. Doubts would creep in. He wondered, what if they're right? What if I'm dreaming too big? What if I'm not capable? But every time doubt tried to chain him down, one small voice inside him whispered, "Keep going. Believe in yourself." 2. The turn of fate. One day, Armin visited a local library. There, tucked in a corner, he found a worn-out book on programming. He didn't understand half of it, but something about the lines of code fascinated him. He made a decision in that moment. "If I can't afford the tools, I'll work with whatever I have." He borrowed the book, he took notes, he copied exercises into his notebook and solved them manually. He pretended the blank paper was a computer screen. People mocked him. "What are you doing? Writing fake codes? You'll never become anything with this nonsense. No one studies programming without a computer." Armin felt embarrassed at times, but he didn't stop, because when the world laughs at you, you have two choices: join their laughter or prove them wrong. Armin chose the second. 3. The power of self-belief. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, Armin's understanding grew. He began thinking logically, solving problems on paper, imagining how a machine would respond. He approached his father. "Abu, can we buy a second-hand laptop? Something basic?" "Armin, we barely manage expenses. Forget these useless dreams. Please, Abu, I'll work hard." "No, you need to focus on real life." That night, Armin felt broken. Dreams felt heavy. The world seemed cruel. But he didn't let go. He started working part-time at a small tea stall after school. He swept floors, served customers, washed cups, wiped tables. People who knew him pitied him. A future scientist washing cups? A tech genius carrying plates? Let's see how far this dream takes him. Armin ignored the voices. Every coin he earned brought him closer to his dream. He saved for 11 months. Finally, he bought a used laptop. Slow, scratched, missing keys, but it was his. And for him, it was more beautiful than the latest model. That night, he whispered, "This is the beginning." The first step forward, Armin started learning from free online content. His laptop froze often, but his determination never did. He practiced late into the night until his eyes burned and his fingers ached. He applied for small coding competitions online. He failed repeatedly. First attempt, rejected. Second attempt, failed. Third attempt, incomplete submission. Fourth attempt, low ranking. Each failure felt heavier, but he refused to quit. People around him said, "Just give up. This is not for you. You're wasting your time. No one believes you can do this." Armin would respond softly, "Maybe no one does, but I believe." And that belief kept him moving. 5. The breakthrough. One day, a tech company announced a national competition for students. The prize included mentorship, training, and a chance to join their innovation program. Armin wanted to participate, but the challenge looked impossible. Thousands would compete. Many were far more skilled. His inner fear whispered, "You're not good enough. You will embarrass yourself." But then another voice answered, "Believe in yourself, even when no one else does." He registered. For 30 days, he worked non-stop. He coded, tested, corrected, improved, and failed repeatedly, but every failure taught him something new. On the submission day, he prayed silently and uploaded his project. Then he waited. 1 week passed. No news. 2 weeks passed. Silence. He assumed he failed again. But on the 19th day, an email arrived. "Congratulations, Armin. You're selected among the top 20 finalists." He read the line again and again. Tears rolled down his face. Not because he won, but because his belief was finally rewarded. He showed the email to his parents. His father stared at the screen silently. "You did this." Armin nodded. His father whispered, "I'm proud of you." For the first time, someone besides himself believed in him. 6. The battle doesn't end. Our man traveled to the city for the final round. It was his first time outside his small town. The competition hall was filled with confident, polished students from elite schools. They looked at our man with curiosity. Which school are you from? What projects have you done before? Who trained you? When our man answered, their expressions changed. You learned coding on your own, and without a proper computer. Oh, good luck, I guess. Our man felt small for a moment, but then he reminded himself, comparison kills confidence. Believe in your journey. He focused on his task. For the final challenge, participants had to build a prototype solving a real-life problem. Our man worked quietly, blocking out noise, doubts, and pressure. He created a simple but impactful solution, an app that helped students in rural areas learn basic programming through low-spec devices, just like he once needed. Judges were impressed, but when results were announced, our man didn't win the top position. He placed third. For many, that would be disappointing. To our man, it was victory. He took the microphone and said, "I didn't win first place, but I won something more important. I proved to myself that I can." The audience clapped, his parents cried, and for the first time, strangers believed in him too. 7. The opportunity of a lifetime. The tech company offered our man a mentorship position, not because he came first, but because his story inspired them. The CEO told him, "Skill can be taught, belief cannot. You believed even when the world didn't, and that is rare." Our man moved to the city. He trained under experts, learned advanced skills, and grew rapidly. Within 2 years, he became one of the youngest developers leading innovative projects. He began visiting schools, inspiring students from small towns. He would tell them, "Don't let others define your limits. Their imagination is too small to see your potential." Slowly, his story spread. Articles were written about him. He received invitations to speak at events, but our man remained humble. He remembered the days people called him average. He remembered the times he studied code on paper. He remembered the late nights and the tears. He remembered the belief that kept him alive. 8. The ultimate test. Years passed. Our man became a respected innovator, but one day he faced the biggest challenge of his life. He was working on a groundbreaking project, an AI-based learning platform for rural education, but midway the funding stopped. Investors backed out. His team lost hope. Many suggested abandoning the idea. "It's too risky. It's impossible without funds. Let it go. This is not practical." Once again, our man stood alone. His inner fear resurfaced. What if I fail now? What if I ruin my reputation? What if they're right? But then a familiar voice whispered, "Believe in yourself. You've done it before. Do it again." He invested his savings. He worked day and night. He rebuilt the project with a smaller team. It took 1 year of sleepless nights, but finally the project was completed. The AI platform became a massive success. Millions of students from rural communities gained access to world-class learning. Governments adopted it. Organizations supported it. International awards followed. One interviewer asked Arman, "What was the secret behind your success?" Arman smiled and said, "I believed in myself when no one else did. That's the only secret." 9. A visit to the past. One day, Arman visited his old town. The same streets, the same houses, the same tea stall where he had once washed cups. The stall owner recognized him. "Arman, look at you now. I knew you'd reach somewhere." Arman laughed gently. He knew that wasn't true, but it didn't matter. He walked slowly around the town. Kids ran after him calling his name. Parents asked him to inspire their children. Teachers invited him to his old school. When he walked to the stage, he saw the same seat where he once sat. Quiet, unnoticed, doubted. He looked at the students and said, "I'm not special. I'm not more talented than you. I just believed in myself when others didn't, and that belief carried me where talent alone could not." 10. The message of the journey. Arman's journey teaches one of the greatest truths. Self-belief is a power stronger than talent, money, or luck. People may doubt you. They may laugh at your dreams. They may underestimate your potential. But the world's belief is temporary. Your belief is permanent. When people tell you you can't, they are speaking from their limitations, not yours. Arman once struggled with self-doubt, poverty, lack of support, and repeated failures. But the force that kept him alive was simple: faith in himself. And that faith transformed him from a boy with no laptop into a man who built technology for millions. Conclusion: the heart of the story. The story of Arman is not fiction. It is a reflection of thousands of real journeys. Every great achiever was doubted once. Every dreamer was called unrealistic. Every innovator was told to play safe. But history is written by those who believed in themselves, even in the darkest moments. So whenever the world doubts you, remember, stars shine the brightest in the night, and you shine the brightest when the world doubts your light. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does, especially when no one else does, because that belief can change your world.